Coming up on this hour of Chris 6 Sunrise, the stories that matter to you in your neighborhood. Running dry. Our lake levels are at historic lows. The options Corpus Christi City Council considered to keep water flowing next. And will they, won't they? The Taft City Council hasn't met in weeks because not enough council members even showed up. The topics they need to discuss, that is, if they meet tonight. And in Alice, the police department is using new technology to help keep neighbors informed. We're going to show you just how easy it is to use. Your Chris 6 Sunrise starts right now. Well, hey, good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us with the Hoffman as Michelle is off. I'm Brian Hoffman. We're going to get your neighborhood news in just a bit, folks. But first, we got to turn it on over to meteorologist Stephen Jones standing by. We'll look at your roadways if you're just heading out the door this morning. Hey, good morning, Stephen.
Well, good morning, Brian. Definitely a jacket-worthy morning in those 40s out there, so a little chilly for some of our residents. But as we're looking at the board, plenty of greens on the map, and that's exactly what I want to see as I'm starting off my Wednesday morning here. Taking a look at that SPID Skycam, you can see a few more cars starting to hit the roadway, luckily still flowing nice and smooth as we're heading into the 6 a.m. hour, and really that's the moral of the story for most of that traffic flow across the area. So let's get right into it here with the new Harbor Bridge. If you're heading to or from Portland this morning, going to be no issues on that roadway, as well as 181 heading all the way into Taft. Now over towards Robstown and Calallen, both 37 and 44 coming in the clear, so let's go ahead and work on into our neck of the woods. Ocean Drive, SPID, Saratoga, and the Crosstown Expressway are all luckily coming in the clear. Just a very minor slowdown on Rodfield as you're getting closer to SPID. Now over towards Flower Bluff, where we're seeing that decent slowdown, definitely want to account for a few extra minutes if you're heading up towards NAS Corpus Christi. Luckily, Flower Bluff Drive and Waldron Road both coming in the clear. And finally, a look over by the island, plenty of greens on the map. So really, other than that slowdown near the Naval Air Station, looking like a good and green morning as we're kicking off our Wednesday.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate it. So Corpus Christi's water supply is operating with little room to spare as lake levels just continue to decline. That's according to officials over at Tuesday's City Council meeting. So Lake Texana already sits below last year's levels. Projections actually indicate that the reservoir could drop to about 50% by early spring. Officials say avoiding stricter water restrictions all depends on continued conservation. City leaders continue to point to the Evangeline Groundwater Project as the future of the city's water supply. The project is designed to initially produce 12 million gallons per day with the option to double capacity later. Council members approved a 30-year agreement that will supply recycled water from the Greenwood wastewater treatment plant to Valero Refining. So Valero will get up to 8 million gallons per day, and that's of recycled water. And this is for Valero's industrial operation, thus reducing their demand on Corpus Christi residents' drinking water. Valero will pay the city for the water and, of course, the treatment costs. Now, that is just one of many plans that the city is working on to try to help out our water situation, but in the long run, we could only do so much. It's really Mother Nature and the weather that is dependent on fixing this.
Yes, absolutely. This winter we've been seeing that La Nina pattern develop across the really entire United States because that's more relative to the sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. So with that La Nina pattern, we typically see drier than normal conditions here into South Texas and much of the southern United States. So here's a look through the next few months. We're going to start to transition to a neutral phase, but let's start to visualize what that could look like on the map. Well, here's a look at La Nina. You can see down towards the southern United States, those warmer than normal conditions, also those drier than normal conditions really persisting into the southern United States. And I mentioned how we're going to start to push towards a neutral phase. Well, it's not going to be the best news, but it is better news for us than that La Nina phase, where we start to see more of those wetter than normal conditions pushing more into the Lone Star State. Doesn't quite make it down into the coastal bend, but if everything holds true and towards summer we actually start to see that El Nino pattern develop, we could see more of those warm or wetter than normal conditions make their way into the Lone Star State. So that would be good news, but for now we're still in that La Nina phase with a 75% chance of pushing into the neutral phase as of right now. So really looking for some more rainmakers to work their way into the area, just not the best for right now.
Yeah, great insight, Stephen. I know you'll keep us updated if that does change. So the city of Taft is set to have their first council meeting of the new year today. That's if enough council members actually show up. After several canceled meetings due to lack of a quorum, the council will convene tonight with over a dozen significant items. Several have to do with the city manager position. As Chris Six first reported in December, city manager Ryan Smith actually filed a lawsuit against the current city council over actions that he says interfered with city operations. Also on the agenda for executive session is an evaluation of the city manager's performance. Neighbor News reporter Adam Beam will be at tonight's meeting, and we'll have more details tonight at 10 o'clock.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. The Alice Police Department is rolling out a new system called VersaTerm. It's meant to improve communication between the department and those who call 911. The Alice Police Department unveiled VersaTerm, a cutting-edge communication system.
We have it in place to help communicate with our community, right? So it's important that when people call 911 that they receive information in return.
Chief Eden Garcia says it's a first of its kind for Alice. Chief Garcia says when someone dials 911, they won't be left in the dark. VersaTerm sends a text message right away, sharing the responding officer's name, their estimated time of arrival, and after the situation's been handled, even a survey to rate their experience. From start to finish, VersaTerm keeps residents informed as cases move through the process.
Well, hey there, and good Wednesday morning. Coastal Bend taking a live look now at our USS Lexington camp, thanks to First Community Bank. Both the New Harbor Bridge and Aquarium putting on a good show so far for our Wednesday morning, but 43 degrees, definitely chillier than where we were yesterday, about 10 degrees cooler, in fact. So if it was jacket worthy yesterday, even more so as we're going into today. Although we did pick up a little bit of rain over the past 48 hours. Here's a look at it. You can see, unfortunately, not the best. It's not what we want entirely, but the best totals were up towards northern B County. They picked up about 0.2 of an inch, most of us getting in those hundredths of an inch mark. So not entirely what we need, but hey, every drop in the bucket counts for us. Temperatures in your neck of the woods starting off the day in 40s for most of us, like we were looking at 43 degrees there in San Diego, feeling like 42, feeling like 40 degrees in George West, also feeling like 40 degrees as you work into Robstown, but a good warm up towards the coast with their proximity to the water. Port Aransas coming in at that 56 degree mark. As we're going through the rest of our Wednesday with the dry air in place and plenty of sunshine on the way, those temperatures going to rebound pretty nicely into the 60s as we're heading out towards that lunchtime hour, into the mid 70s for daytime highs. So considerably warmer than where we were yesterday, but also going to notice those winds picking up into the afternoon out of the north around 10 to 20 miles an hour, even with some gusts upwards of those upper 20s at times. Forecast highs in your neck of the woods going to be chasing the 70s pretty much in the entire area, but also with their proximity to the water, a little bit cooler there in Port Aransas, potentially even avoiding any of those 70s today. In terms of that big weather picture, we're seeing that cold front work its way through the Lone Star State, now sitting in the hill country just to the south of the Metroplex there, and going to continue its trek down towards the coastal bend. Unfortunately, it is a mostly dry front for us here as we're working into the Lone Star State. You can only see a few of those specks of green that have been working in, and as it works down towards the coastal bend, not going to see any of that rainfall going into today. But as we go into the rest of the day, almost that wall-to-wall sunshine, going to be a beautiful one for us as we're going into our Wednesday with those temperatures responding nicely into the 70s. But when we go into the 7-day forecast, that's where we're going to start to see a little bit of a back and forth action. The weather's not going to be able to make up its mind over these next few days. The 70s or the 60s, you take your pick about which one you're going to prefer through it. That's where we're going to be really through the next 5 days, but looking like a beautiful weekend whenever things start to settle down a little bit more. Temperatures in those upper 60s, more sunshine on the board. But as we head into the start of next week, that's where we're going to start to see that next rain chance working back in.
Thank you, Stephen. So Texas veterans are getting an increased home loan limits. But does it make a big difference for veterans here in the Coastal Bend? Coming up on Sunrise, we're doing the math and have the answers for you. Welcome back, everyone. So the trial against former Uvalde School Resource Officer Adrian Gonzalez continues today. He's being charged with 29 counts of child endangerment and abandonment in connection to the deadly school shooting at Robb Elementary. So Tuesday was the first time that we actually heard from Gonzalez in a video statement that he made to a Texas Ranger after the shooting. But before the video was even played, tensions were high in the courtroom after an outburst from a family member.
Thank you very much.
You know who went into the fatal funnel? My sister went into the fatal funnel.
Ma'am,
Did she need a key? Why do you need a key?
ma'am, go ahead and have a seat.
Y'all are saying that she didn't lock her door. She went into the fatal funnel. She did it! Not you!
Okay, ladies if you disregard.
Trial will resume at 9 a.m. Be sure to stay tuned to Chris 6 on air and online for the very latest.
This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by the Heil Law Firm, battling for justice, winning for the community.
As you can imagine, we get a lot of news tips from viewers like you. Dozens of phone calls, hundreds of emails daily, many of them coming from government agencies. And there's one I recently received that's been getting a lot of attention online. So for this week's Veterans in Focus, we're putting this claim into context. Big news for Texas veterans looking to buy a home. And we're showing what it actually means for those of us in the Coastal Bend. So here's the deal. The Texas Veteran Land Board just recently approved an increase to its home loan cap. It went from $806,500 to $832,750. That's an increase of $26,250. But the question is, how meaningful is a $26,000 increase for most veterans in Corpus Christi? Well, let's talk local numbers. Right now, the average listing price in Corpus Christi hovers around $300,000, give or take. An $800,000 home, well, that's a totally different category. They're bigger in fancier neighborhoods like ones you'd find on the island or in the Bay Area, and some may even have waterfront access. Now, that's the top end of the local market. When we're talking about income now, the average veteran income in the Corpus Christi area is roughly $40,000 to $55,000 a year, depending on the source. With most fees in mind, payments on an $800,000 home top $6,000 a month, and that's more than double what the average veteran here earns before taxes. And that means only a small fraction of veterans in the Coastal Bend could realistically benefit from the new cap. Usually those with higher earnings, two incomes, or considerable assets, making up less than 10 to 15% of the local veteran population. So why even raise the cap at all? Well, the loan program has to keep up with the times, right? Home prices have risen statewide and nationally, and if loan limits stay frozen while prices rise, then the program essentially becomes unusable. This increase simply keeps the VLB aligned with the broader housing market, but this does not mean the state expects most veterans to buy an $800,000 home. And for veterans who do qualify, the program still offers some benefits, like below market interest rates, no private mortgage insurance, low or no down payment options, and more. Now, for more information on the VLB's home loan program and the qualifications, you can visit our website, christv.com.
Well, hey there, and good Wednesday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look at our USS Lexington Cam, thanks to First Community Bank. The new Harbor Bridge and Aquarium in view, both putting on that good show, but definitely chilly as we're stepping out the door. 43 degrees. Probably want to take the jacket with you this morning. Also want to share you this photo from yesterday's sunrise. A wonderful photo at that. This is over on Padre Island, thanks to Pete Moreno, and this is from our Coastal Bend Weather Watchers group. If you ever see any great sunrises, cloud formations, just interesting weather out there, go ahead, join that group, maybe post in there. Just a great resource to share some of those photos and also see some cool things in there for sure. Might even be featured in one of our weather casts. For those temperatures, as you're starting off in your neck of the woods, 43 here in town, feeling like 39 degrees. Also feeling like 39 as you work your way over into Kingsville. 43 degrees on the money in George West, but feeling like that 40-degree mark. The warmest of us going to be Port Aransas this morning, coming in around 56 degrees. Planning out the rest of our Wednesday, though, under these clear skies, those temperatures going to rebound pretty nicely compared to yesterday, into the 50s through the 60s as we're heading towards that lunchtime hour, already pushing into those 70s for the afternoon. Daytime highs today going to get into those mid 70s, but also a little gustier than yesterday. Those winds going to be out of the north about 15 to even 20 miles an hour thanks to that cold front working in this afternoon. You can see that here on the big weather picture, working into central Texas in the hill country right now, quickly going to make its way down into the Coastal Bend as we're going into this afternoon, and going to pick some big changes on the way for us. For the Doppler radar out there right now, pretty clear skies overhead with just a little bit of cloud cover out there, and as we go into the future tracker, even less of that cloud cover anticipated into the afternoon, almost that wall-to-wall sunshine expected by 3 to 4 p.m. And as we go into tomorrow, going to be more of that same story. Clear skies going to allow us to cool off tonight with that radiational cooling, getting us right back down into the 40s as we're starting off our Thursday morning. So keep that in mind as we're going into tomorrow. For that 7-day forecast, though, the weather definitely cannot make up its mind through these next few days. Going to be thanks to these two cold fronts working in the 70s or the 60s. That's really what we're expecting through the next 5 days. days. Either way, luckily starts to settle down as we're heading into the weekend. You see the upper 60s on the board for daytime highs with plenty of sunshine. So go ahead and make those plans for the weekend as we head in towards MLK Day and the start of next week. More moisture works in and that next rain chance on the board as we head into Tuesday.
Well, a new report is out that shows us what to expect this year when it comes to cancer cases and deaths. Coming up on Sunrise, we're going to take a look at those numbers. Welcome back, folks. So we are less than 2 weeks into the new year, and the leading U.S. health organization is releasing its annual report on what to expect in 2026 when it comes to cancer cases and death rates. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and explains why experts say that there's still work to be done to improve cancer care and the outcomes.
First, the good news. In a new annual report, the American Cancer Society says cancer deaths continue to decline in the U.S., largely due to less smoking, earlier detection of cancers, and improved treatments.
We've made more progress in the treatment of metastatic cancer in the last 20 years than we did in the history of mankind before then. So we are making real progress.
But there's bad news, too. In 2026, the organization projects more than 2.1 million new cancer cases in the U.S., along with more than 626,000 cancer deaths. Lung cancer remains the leading cause of those deaths, killing more people than colorectal and pancreatic cancers combined. Those are the next two deadliest cancers.
We've seen a 5-time improvement in overall survival for metastatic lung cancer patients, but only at 10%. So while there's been great improvement there, there's still a long way to go.
Disparities also remain. Alaska Natives and Native Americans have the highest cancer death rates. The organization says that's largely driven by lack of access to care, as well as environment and lifestyle. Black women are also less likely to survive breast cancer and are more likely to be diagnosed at a later stage and have poorer outcomes for endometrial and uterine cancers. The U.S. continues to see rates climb for men with advanced prostate cancer, and Black men are more likely to be diagnosed and die from that disease.
There's still a lot of work to be done.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, hey there, and good Wednesday morning, Coastal Bend. Getting a live look from our USS Lexington cam thanks to First Community Bank. You can see the new Harbor Bridge in view. A few cars heading out for that Wednesday morning commute for sure, but hopefully they have their jackets with them. Definitely chilly out there at 43 degrees, but luckily the roadway's looking just like that. Plenty of greens on the map as we're getting a good look at that traffic flow. Starting off with the Harbor Bridge, like we saw on the Skycam, no issues there, as well as 181 heading on into Taft. Just a minor slowdown there on 361 between Gregory and Ingleside. Over towards Robstown and Cal and now 37 and 44, both mostly clear. Just a minor slowdown there on 44 near Violet. Now into our neck of the woods, Ocean Drive, SBID, and Crosstown Expressway coming in the clear. Only a minor slowdown there on Saratoga as you're working in, but really not too bad. And as we look over towards Flower Bluff, Waldron Road looking pretty clear, but Flower Bluff Drive want to account for a couple extra minutes, and especially if you're heading up towards the Naval Air Station Corpus Christi. Other than that, looking like a pretty good and green morning for us, but don't go anywhere. I'll have that full weather forecast next. Well, hey there, Coastal Bend, getting a live look from our Snoopy Skycam thanks to Matthew CCAC. 43 degrees out there. The water's looking nice and calm though, with winds not too strong as of right now, and clear skies overhead, at least mostly clear out there, helping us cool down into those 40s. Also going to help us warm up as we're going into later today. But first, taking a look at those past 10 hours, we have been on that decent cool down thanks to the lack of cloud cover, I should say. We were in the 50s last night, around that 51 degree mark by 1 a.m., but then quickly starting to drop down in through those 40s, about 43 degrees now, and that's all thanks to the clear skies we've been seeing over the past few hours. And around our neck of the woods, seeing those 40s for most of us here in the Coastal Bend. Just 55 degrees, the one in the 50s there in Port Aransas, thanks to their proximity to the water. Close to that at the Naval Air Station, 48 degrees, 49 as you work up towards Rockport, but definitely chillier air as you work towards the south. 42 there in Falfurrias, but feeling like 39 degrees this morning, feeling like 39 also in Kingsville. 42 is what it's feeling like as you're stepping out the door this morning in Beeville. For our dog walking forecast today, we've got Rocky and Sadie on the board. Says their favorite place to take a walk over there by the Botanical Gardens. Not too bad of views at all. And as we're looking at those temperatures for the walk, going to be climbing through the 50s through 9 and 10 a.m. towards that 70-degree mark already as we're heading towards that lunchtime hour. And like I said, those temperatures are already going to warm up into the mid-70s as we're heading towards the later portions of the afternoon. In terms of winds, though, we're going to notice a stronger wind than what we saw the past couple of days as well. Those winds going to be sustained around 10 to 15 miles an hour, but when that front gets here, going to see some of those gusts getting upwards of the upper 20s. I think this model has it just a little bit aggressive there, pushing in already by noon, but either way, it is going to be a fast-moving front. Going to notice those winds picking up definitely into the early afternoon. Daytime highs, though, for around the area into those 70s out there. 70 degrees in Port Aransas, or 70 in Aransas Pass expected today. In Port Aransas, could even avoid those 70s altogether thanks to their proximity to the water. For the rest of us, going to be in those mid-70s as you work your way further inland. As we're looking at that Doppler radar, plenty of clear skies is what we compared to yesterday. In fact, just a little bit of that cloud cover overhead, but as we go in through the future tracker, all of that cloud cover going to continue its trek on towards the south, and as we head into the later portions of the afternoon, going to expect that wall-to-wall sunshine before we see plenty of clear skies again tonight, and once again, going to see those 40s is what we're waking up to as we're heading into our Thursday morning. For the upper level pattern, this is why the weather's not going to be able to make up its mind over the next couple of days. You see all of this cold air funneling into the Midwest. It's going to get us on the tail end of a couple cold fronts working into the area, keeping us closer to that average around the upper 60s, but as we go into the back half of next week, things start to look like they're going to be warming up a little bit, but I'm still hopeful that we'll avoid any of those 80s making their return for January. As we're looking at that 7-day forecast, we're not totally done with the rain. Here's that roller coaster of temperatures, though, for the next about 5 days. Plenty of sunshine on the board for you, so go ahead and make those outdoor plans for the weekend with temperatures in the upper 60s, just looking about perfect for it. Then that next rain chance works in as we're seeing more moisture work into the area by about Tuesday of next week.
I'm Joe St. George in Washington. President Trump wants to cap credit card interest rates and limit big companies from buying single-family homes. That may sound like a great idea, but we've uncovered a great deal of skepticism with these plans. We explain that next. President Donald Trump has recently announced a number of new policy proposals aimed at affordability, one of the biggest issues on the minds of Americans. And while capping credit card interest rates and limiting who can buy a single-family home may sound like a good idea, we've already discovered there's a great deal of skepticism with these plans and whether or not they'll actually work.
We're making America great again like never before.
President Donald Trump in Michigan Tuesday, once again discussing his vision for an improved economy in the coming months. On social media, the president has been outlining a litany of new proposals as of late. On January 9th, President Trump said this about credit cards. Effective January 20th, 2026, I, as President of the United States, am calling for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates of 10%. On January 7th, he said, I'm immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. When you hear that idea, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea.
When you ask people out and about interest rate caps, it's hard to find disagreement. How much money do you think that could save your family?
Maybe $200, $300 a month.
But when you talk to experts, you realize there is major skepticism over whether these ideas will actually be good for consumers in the long term.
It sounds great, but it will have catastrophic ramifications for the total economy.
Richard Hunt is with the Electronic Payments Coalition, which represents credit unions and banks. An analysis by his group found that limited interest rates would result in banks limiting access to credit, cash back programs, and travel rewards would be slashed too.
If you were to cap interest rates on credit cards, 82% of cardholders would lose their credit card.
As far as President Trump's plan to limit major investors from buying single-family homes, there is skepticism there too.
It's not really going to accomplish anything.
Daryl Fairweather is the chief economist at Redfin. She says large institutional investors make up only a small share of home buyers nationally and would likely be replaced by smaller investors should a large-scale ban occur.
It's not necessarily going to open up inventory for first-time home buyers. The reason that housing is so unaffordable is because we're about 4 million houses short.
Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.
You know, with all of those changes, some that may help out and some that won't, what we can focus on and what you can do day to day is making your dollar stretch a little bit further at those staples. We're talking about grocery prices. So taking a look per the retailer's website as of this morning, these are the cheapest prices on these staples I could find. When it comes to eggs, Walmart is in first place at $1.97, followed by Target and then H-E-B. Next on the list is going to be a loaf of bread. No big change here. H-E-B still in first place at $1.20. Then Walmart and Target leading in the rear. You can never beat that $1 French bread loaf, can we? Checking in on milk. Not too much has changed here either. Walmart and H-E-B seem to be at the same price for weeks now, $2.92 tied for first place, and then Target coming in third place. Last up, let's bring on in the protein, shall we? A pound of ground beef is going to cost you $4.79 over at H-E-B, followed by Walmart at $5.44 and then Target at $6.19. As always, you can find cheaper prices than these guys because sometimes, especially with the ground beef, the meat markets can be cheaper. I'm going to throw it in your cart while you can. I have all these prices posted on our website, christv.com.
Well, hey there, and good Wednesday morning, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones. Taking a live look at our USS Lexington Cam, thanks to First Community Bank, both the aquarium and the new Harbor Bridge in view, putting on a good show for our Wednesday morning, but probably want to take the jacket with you. 43 degrees out there, those winds out of the west-southwest 6 miles an hour, adding in just a little bit of a wind chill, even some of us feeling like the 30s as we're stepping out the door. First looking at those dew points, though, still some fairly dry air here at the surface with dew points in the 40s, if not the 30s, but with a cold front on the way later today, you're going to see these dew points go even lower as we're going into tomorrow morning. Temperatures starting off in your neck of the wood in the 40s for most of us in the Coastal Bend. Port Aransas with their proximity to the water, keeping them just a little bit warmer at 55 degrees. 43 over there in Kingsville, feeling like about that 39-degree mark, so keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. Luckily, not too much rain on the board as we're heading out for that Wednesday morning commute, and not too much rain as we're heading into today. I do know we need it, but luckily there's some more rain chances as we work into that 7-day forecast. But first, focusing on today for our Wednesday, of course, plenty of sunshine expected as we're heading into the afternoon. Going to be chasing that 76-degree mark here in Corpus Christi, and really around the Coastal Bend, all of us going to be rounding out in those 70s today, with rain chances unfortunately going to be towards the bottom of the board. But like I said, we're going to have them work back in as we go towards next week. I'll go over all those rain chances and the full 7-day forecast coming up.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Hey there, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of non-stop news. I'm Brian Hoffman. Michelle has the day off, so we have plenty of neighborhood news to get to this morning, folks. But first, we got to check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones. Hey, good morning, Stephen. How are the roadways looking for people just heading out the door?
Well, good morning, Brian. Good morning, everybody. You know, it's looking pretty good on the roadways, actually. Plenty of greens on the map, but there is a couple trouble spots out there as we're heading out the door. Here's a live look at our SPID Skycam. You can see just some glimpses of the sunrise starting to come up, but either way, still very chilly out there, 43 degrees, and probably want to take the jacket with you as you're heading out the door. Luckily, traffic flowing nice and smooth as we see there on SPID, and that's the story for most of our roadways this morning. So let's get right into it here, starting off with the new Harbor Bridge to and from Portland. No issues there, just a stop and go traffic just a little bit between Gregory and Ingleside. As we work over towards Robstown and Calallen, now 37 and 44 both coming in the clear if you're going to be hitting those roadways. So let's work on over here into Corpus Christi. Ocean Drive, SPID, Saratoga, and the Crosstown Expressway all coming in the clear, so really looking pretty good across our neck of the woods. Just a minor slowdown on Rodfield as you get closer to SPID. Now over towards Flower Bluff, definitely want to give yourself a couple extra minutes heading up towards NAS Corpus Christi, seeing some of that stop and go traffic, and maybe an extra minute or two on Flower Bluff Drive, but Waldron Road coming in the clear. So for most of us, looking like a good and green morning as we're kicking off our Wednesday.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate you, sir. So Corpus Christi's water supply, of course, is operating with little room to spare as lake levels continue to decline. That's according to officials over at Tuesday's City Council meeting. Lake Texana already sits below last year's levels. Projections indicate that the reservoir could drop to about 50% by early spring. Officials say avoiding stricter water restrictions just depends on continued conservation efforts. City leaders continue to point to the Evangeline Groundwater Project as the future of the city's water supply. The project is designed to initially produce 12 million gallons per day with the option to double capacity later. Council members approved a 30-year agreement that will supply recycled water from the Greenwood Wastewater Treatment Plant to Valero Refining. Valero will get up to 8 million gallons a day of recycled water for Valero's industrial operation. This hence reduces their demand on Corpus Christi's residents' drinking water. Valero will pay the city for the water and the treatment costs. Well, the city of Taft is set to have their first council meeting of the new year. That is, if enough council members even show up. After several canceled meetings due to lack of quorum, the council will convene tonight with over a dozen significant agenda items. Several have to do with the city manager position. As Chris Hicks first reported in December, city manager Ryan Smith filed a lawsuit against the current city council over actions that he says interfered with city operations. Also on the agenda for executive session is that evaluation of the very city manager's performance too. Neighbor News reporter Adam Beam will be at tonight's meeting and we'll have more details at 10. So we still have plenty of neighborhood news to get to this morning, folks, from a new way for neighbors to communicate with the Alice Police Department to this history of Corpus Christi's MLK March. We've got you covered in your neighborhood check-in.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. The Alice Police Department is rolling out a new system called VersaTerm. It's meant to improve communication between the department and those who call 911. The Alice Police Department unveiled VersaTerm, a cutting-edge communication system.
We have it in place to help communicate with our community, right? So it's important that when people call 911 that they receive information in return.
Chief Eden Garcia says it's a first of its kind for Alice. Chief Garcia says when someone dials 911, they won't be left in the dark. VersaTerm sends a text message right away, sharing the responding officer's name, their estimated time of arrival, and after the situation's been handled, even a survey to rate their experience. From start to finish, VersaTerm keeps residents informed as cases move through the process.
Behind every animal you see at the Nueces County Junior Livestock Show is a kiddo who tends to them all year round. But how do these kids balance school and their big show day?
Sounds daunting at first, but throughout the week, it just kind of slowly gets done. And I have a lot of time in between showing my pigs and doing queen stuff that I'm able to go to the study shed and catch up on some work.
That's Layla Hagendorn. She's with the NCGLS Young Herdsmen, a group of students representing the stock show. She helped organize the study shed. This space was created because many students do not get the week off for the stock show. Brahedis Morgan understands the stress of doing both the show and finishing his homework. The study shed helps students like Brahedis who wants to stay in the agriculture business in the future. This is the first year they have the study shed, and organizers hope it stays for years to come.
This year marks the 40th anniversary of the MLK March in Corpus Christi. Started by members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated by the Corpus Christi Alumni Chapter. They say the tradition has grown citywide, now with other organizations and the city joining in. As the city kicks off MLK celebrations, members say receiving a proclamation on January 13th, Delta Sigma Theta's Founders Day, felt especially meaningful. For these women, honoring Dr. King's legacy isn't just about one day, it's about a lifetime commitment of service.
Well, hey there and good Wednesday morning, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones. Taking a live look now at our USS Lexington camp. Thanks to First Community Bank, you can see the new Harbor Bridge and the aquarium in view, both putting on a good show so far. And a few cars heading out for that Wednesday morning commute. Hopefully they all have their jackets, though. 43 degrees, definitely a chilly start to our day, especially when you compare it to those 50s we had yesterday. Also want to share this with you from our Coastal Bend Weather Watchers group over on Padre Island. Thanks to Pete Moreno. This was the sunrise yesterday. Just a wonderful photo from over there. And if you ever see any wonderful photos of the sunrise, sunset, good cloud formations, really anything weather related, if you want to take a good snapshot of it and maybe submit it in that Coastal Bend Weather Watchers group, we would really love to see it in there. For those temperatures in your neck of the woods, most of us starting off in those 40s. Pretty chilly out there this morning. 55 in Port Aransas. Also Hebronville has come back up to about 50 degrees on the money. 43 though in Robstown as well as Mathis this morning, and feeling like 40 degrees as you're stepping out the door in George West. For our dog walking forecast this morning, we've got Rocky and Sadie on the board. Says their favorite place to take a walk over there by the Botanical Gardens. Not too bad of a spot at all. And as we look at those temperatures, going to be climbing through the 50s to the 60s to that 70-degree mark as we're heading out for lunch this afternoon. Daytime highs going to be topping out in those mid-70s for most of us across the Coastal Bend. A couple of us around those upper 60s, if not the 70s, with the proximity to the water closer towards Port Aransas and Rockport there. But as you work your way inland, surely going to see those mid-70s return to the board. As we go into the afternoon, though, in terms of the big weather picture, we've got a cold front on the way. It's going to arrive in our neck of the woods by this afternoon. You can see it right now sitting in the hill country and just south of the Metroplex there, quickly making its way through the Lone Star State. And we're going to notice those winds picking up when it arrives here in the area. I think this model has it a little bit aggressive pushing in by lunch, but either way into the afternoon, going to notice those wind gusts picking up into the upper 20s at times and holding on to some of those sustained winds around 10 to 15 miles an hour as we're going into the afternoon hours. For the radar out there, sitting pretty dry in terms of precipitation, just a little bit of cloud cover overhead, but even that cloud cover in the future tracker going to continue its trek off towards the south, and even looking at that wall-to-wall sunshine at times as we're going into the later evening. And with that clear skies overhead, going to help us cool down once again into those 40s as we're waking up to our Thursday morning tomorrow. So keep that in mind. But as we're going into daytime highs for the upper level pattern, this is why the weather's not going to be able to make up its mind through the next couple of days. If you focus on the Midwest, you see that two cores of cold air really pushing in towards that Wisconsin, Illinois area. Going to send two cold fronts our way as well, helping us stay around that average in the upper 60s. Latest guidance does have us warming up into the back half of next week, but I'd say enjoy the 60s while we have them for our 7-day forecast, or the 70s if you pick that. Either way, going to be back and forth through about the next 5 days, shaping up to be a beautiful weekend in those mid to upper 60s. Plenty of sunshine on the board, and finally another rain shot as we're heading into early next week. Going to notice more moisture and some scattered showers as we work in towards Tuesday.
When you get a recall notice for your car, your first instinct is probably to get it fixed right away. But if parts are not available, you may have to hit the brakes and wait for that repair. As soon as Barry Randolph starts his 2018 Ram pickup, he's reminded of an ongoing issue. He says the dashboard lights up with warning symbols and this note telling him to service the electronic braking system.
The ABS and the traction control lights stay on constantly.
But he says he can't get it fixed.
Parts have not been available for 3 years.
Randolph is one of roughly 317,000 Ram owners notified about the same risk of anti-lock electronic stability control and traction control system failure. He says several dealers don't have parts to fix it and don't know when they will.
They show unavailable. Unavailable.
M. Wynn of Carfax says lag time between a recall and the solution is expected.
So they usually issue that recall perhaps before a fix is even designed or produced or distributed.
But if months or years pass by, what can drivers do? Lauren Fix of Car Coach Report says ask the dealership about a loaner or reimbursement for a rental. The decision comes down to brand and severity of the issue.
I've heard people say they just don't get anything. They have nothing available. And that's a problem, especially if that's your only vehicle.
One thing she doesn't recommend is getting the problem fixed elsewhere.
There's no documentation with the manufacturer if that problem comes up again. Also, you're paying for it.
We reached out to Stellantis, the owner of Ram, to ask about the timeline, but have not heard back. Randolph continues driving his Ram, hoping he doesn't have any issues.
Are you concerned about your safety?
Yeah, absolutely.
So be persistent and know it doesn't hurt to ask about a loaner car, and that way you don't waste your money. John Mattery, Scripps News Group.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, to start off this list, folks, the Justice Department doesn't believe that there's evidence to back a criminal investigation into the ICE officer who fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche made the announcement Tuesday after at least 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned in protest. They were facing pressure from the Trump administration over the shooting. Sources say that the prosecutors were being told to focus their investigation on the actions of Good her widow, and others who may have been involved in ICE protests rather than on the officers' actions. Well, President Trump says that he's taking additional steps to enforce his immigration crackdown. On Tuesday, the president said that the federal government will stop making payments to sanctuary cities and states with those cities. He said that would happen beginning on February 1st. He said that the move is necessary because he believes sanctuary cities do everything possible, in his words, to, quote, protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, end quote. The Department of Homeland Security says it is ending a form of humanitarian relief for Somali nationals living in the United States. Temporary protected status, or TPS, applies to people who would face extreme hardships forced to return to homelands devastated by armed conflict or natural disasters. Somali citizens were first granted TPS in 1991 and maintained it due to insecurity and ongoing armed conflict, which continues today. TPS for Somalis is set to expire on March 17th. The Trump administration argues conditions in their home country no longer justify those protections. Well, close to 800,000 fewer people signed up for Affordable Care Act coverage through early January. That's compared to the same period last year. The decline comes as the expiration of enhanced premium subsidies in December pushes up those premiums, meaning it was far more expensive for the average American. The federal government had offered the enhanced subsidies since 2021. On average, the expiration has actually doubled the price of premiums. People can still enroll in plans through Thursday. The final number on the decline won't be available until the middle of the year, actually. Well, carbon emissions recently reversed course in a bad way. After years of decline, they rose in 2025 by 2.4%. That's according to a report from independent economic research firm Rhodium Group. Analysts say that some of the factors causing the increase includes power-hungry data centers driving up demand and colder weather, which caused furnaces to work even harder. Analysts say that this rise in emissions comes before the Trump administration's pro-fossil fuel policies are set to even go into effect. Drew Cox is retiring after 19 years on the Frugio football coaching staff. He took over after Jason Herring led the Bobcats the past 2 seasons to playoffs. Cox retires after a 42-year career in education and coaching. Defensive coordinator Eli Bruxell has been promoted to take his place. Bruxell is bringing 21 years of coaching experience, including 16 years with the Bobcats. On to what's trending now, folks. The 4th teaser for Avengers Doomsday has been released online. Well, it starts off with the set, I should say, heavily in that Black Panther universe of Wakanda. But it then shows him shaking hands with the Thing from the Fantastic Four. That sets the tone for the Fantastic Four crossing into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in what is set to be an enormous cast. The cast from the Thunderbolts will also appear, as well as several characters from the X-Men series of films. The film hits theaters in December. That should look pretty cool. So instead of watching, 5 or 6 different superhero films, it's all combined into one. So many different universes. This is going to be really cool. I'm really excited for this one.
This is going to be a very big event. We'll see if it, tries to rival Infinity War and Endgame and everything when that was coming out. But there's going to be a lot of people in this movie. I'm definitely excited for it. Just hopefully we're able to get some seats in the theaters. I imagine it's going to be pretty tough whenever that does come out.
Yes.
Either way, for now, we're still starting off in January. Still have a ways to go till that. We're nice and cool out there this morning, feeling much more like January for the coastal bend, feeling in those 40s out there, even a couple feels like in the upper 30s as you work your way inland. Here's a live look from our SBID Skycam now, sitting at that 43-degree mark, but a gorgeous sunrise on our hands so far with just a little bit of cloud cover out there, seeing those reds in the sky. And as we go into later portions of today, even going to lose that cloud cover. Almost going to see that wall-to-wall sunshine for us later today. First, starting off with those temperatures as you're stepping out the door, 50 degrees to the southwest in Hebbronville, but the rest of us for the most part coming in those 40s. 43 degrees in Robstown, same for Mathis, feeling like 40 degrees as you're stepping out the door in Beeville. And as we work closer to the coast, that's where we're seeing a couple more 50s on the boards towards Rockport, and then 55 degrees in Port Aransas this morning. As we're going into the rest of our Wednesday, though, those clear skies going to take over, like I said, and temperatures going to rebound pretty nicely into the 70s by that 1 p.m. hour, chasing about 76 degrees for the daytime high here in Corpus Christi. Also going to notice a gustier afternoon on our hands. bands as we're going into it. Those winds going to be out of the northwest about 10 to even upwards of 20 miles an hour with some decent gusts up into the 25 to 27 mile an hour range with that cold front arriving. Daytime highs in your neck of the woods going to be chasing the mid-70s for most of us. A couple 70s there along the coast, maybe even avoiding that in Port Aransas with their proximity to the water, but either way, nice and warm compared to where we were yesterday. We can see that cold front on the way though in terms of the big weather picture just south of the Metroplex, pushing through the hill country, quickly going to make its way down into the coastal bend as we're going into this afternoon. And like I said, going to notice some of those gusts getting upwards of the 20s at times into the afternoon. I do think this model has us just a little aggressive on the timing, but either way, definitely gets the story across by the afternoon hours. I think around 2 to 4 p.m. we see those gusts definitely kicking up on the board. For our Doppler radar, going to be nice and dry right now and going to be nice and dry through the rest of our Wednesday. Even that cloud cover that we have right now, like I said, going to continue its trek off towards the south, looking at wall-to-wall sunshine potentially by the late evening hours, and with the clear skies overhead once again going to help us cool off into those upper 40s, if not the mid 40s, as we're waking up into our Thursday morning tomorrow. For that upper level pattern in terms of temperatures through the next few days, going to be back and forth a little bit, and that's thanks to this core of cold air really pushing into midwestern portions of the United States. Going to send a good couple cold fronts our way as we're going through that 7-day forecast. Temperatures back and forth through the 70s and 60s. You can decide which one you like better. Either way, going to have that sunshine pushing into the area as we're going through the weekend and looking like a great weekend at that with the temperatures in the upper 60s. Plenty of sunshine, but I'm even looking more forward to that next rain chance on the board by next Tuesday, Brian.
Yeah, I actually was out on a walk with the doggos yesterday. Had a couple of little sprinkles here and there. Nothing significant though.
Not substantial. We saw, I think, 0.2 of an inch in northern B County was the best, so we definitely need some more, but we'll take every drop in the bucket for right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, hey, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you for tuning in, folks. We're going to have even more news from your neighborhood. We're keeping up to date on each and every story that is most important to you. So make sure you stay tuned on air and online, KrisTV.com, and we'll be back at noon. Have yourself a fantastic Wednesday.